And with me now in studio is Kobi Sudri, well-known Israeli attorney and legal commentator. Kobi, thanks for being with me.
Thank you, always a pleasure.
Give us a broad picture here for you. What is the major takeaway, the big headline from today's procedural developments in court?
Well, actually, the courts wanted to set a timetable, and they already did it today. They wanted to put this trial on track eventually, since there were already several months that nothing really happened about this case, and the judge wanted to put it forward, and that's exactly what she decided. The problem is, the main problem, especially for the prime minister, is that his team is not organized. Actually, there is no one who is leading it.
Who is his main attorney? It seems to change now, right?
It changes, and we really don't know who is the main one. And every other hearing, we see another lawyer who attends, except of attorney Amit Haddad, who actually, as far as I understand, is not supposed to be the leading attorney in this case. And the thing is that the team, not only it's not organized, it has no one who is leading it. Now, it's very unfortunate, and more than that, it's harmful for the prime minister's defense, because if he finds himself on January without someone who is leading his defense, then I really don't know how the court will treat it.
Is there a legal strategy, perhaps, amidst this chaos for Netanyahu? Maybe the idea being he wants a change at the table as much as he can. He wants new attorneys in, other attorneys out, so that there can be a constant request for delay, so that the new attorneys can have more and more time to review documents.
It could be. But there comes a moment when you need to end it. And I think that this moment arrived.
Because is there a sense that the judges see through it and they're fed up with it? Can they put
Maybe. And besides, you know what? They don't really care. Meaning, they set a timetable and they want the trial to go on. Now, the next date's supposed to be January, and he's supposed to be attending those dates that were set by the court. And the thing is, he would better do it when he has an organized defense.
What are the chances that this worsening coronavirus situation, now the second hearing did go through, but as the situation continues to get worse and worse, what are the chances it will impact the ability to either have the hearings, to have witnesses come in and testify? How could the pandemic impact the trial?
Well, first of all, as for now, there is no prevention, because on a daily basis, courts all over Israel hear cases, hear testimonies, and witnesses are cross-examined day by day by, all kind of courts in Israel. If the situation will worsen and the courts will stop or will be seized of having any kind of hearings, that will naturally affect the timetable in this case as well. As for now, it's only a guess.
Netanyahu faces a single bribery charge, by far the most serious of the charges, but there's 3 separate cases. There are breach of trust and fraud charges as well. There could be hundreds of witnesses that will be called, that will actually be called. The list is quite long. There realistically be hundreds that are called. So even if we start in January and now we know that there'll be 3 hearings a week, could this trial take a year? Could it take many years to wrap up?
I think it will take much more than a year. And besides, don't forget that, as far as I understand from Netanyahu's attorneys, there is another issue about revealing some more of the evidence material that wasn't revealed. They claim that it's essential. The prosecution claims that it doesn't, and this is another thing that should be cleared up.
And it seemed that today that the judge did have some sympathy for the defense argument that there may be documents that the defense should have access to and be able to review that so far haven't been turned over.
Of course, this is something, again, this is something that happens almost in every other trial, and this is something that should be clarified. The thing is that there is no one on the Prime Minister's defense team that is asking to find out what is happening with this material.
All right, and final question here about the timetable. So now we know in January we can circle our calendars. We know 3 days a week there'll be probably. So for the world paying attention to this legally, you mentioned this is not going to take 1 year. So legally, if it takes years until we get a result, Netanyahu isn't going anywhere from the results of the criminal proceedings. There's the coalition deal, there's perhaps another election, but the trial is quite a lengthy period of time.
Exactly, but then let's not forget that according to the coalition agreement, within a year and a half, he's supposed to switch his office with Mr. Gantz, and then he's no longer prime minister, is a substitutor or whatever they call it. And then the question is whether the Supreme Court would intervene with this agreement, saying that he is unable to be a substitutor to the prime minister.
You have the new position of alternate prime minister. Kobi, thank you so much for your analysis.